The following program is brought to you by TZ Productions, offering 40 years of media experience.
The Alvin and Rosalie Sarachek Trust, supporting arts, history, science, and this program on KPTS.
It's time to chat with another Wichita notable. This time, it's one of the city's top educators who has broken the glass ceiling. She's the first laywoman to serve as president of Newman University. Under her watch, the Newman campus has seen a dramatic upgrade, including a soon-to-be-open $30 million science center. She has also transformed the university academically, overseeing the implementation of a new core curriculum that has caught the attention of educators across the country. Trailblazer, innovator, Newman University's president, Dr. Noreen Carrocci, is here for the full half-hour one-on-one. I'm Victor Hogstrom. Thank you for watching. It's a joy to welcome Dr. Noreen Carrocci to this week's edition of One-on-One. Dr. Carrocci, it's great to have you.
It's great to be here, Victor. I'm pleased to be able to do it.
Thank you. You've been president at Newman University now for 10 years. Are you having fun yet?
It's been fun all 10 years. It's been the best, most joyful job of my life. And I owe it to the great support of the sisters who are our sponsors and great board members, executive team, faculty and staff are just superb. You know, I've said often since I got this job, where's the work and meet, greet, and eat? And that's what you get to do as president,
right?
Is to kind of be the face of your school. And Wichita's a great community to be a part of too. So that's been a joy.
So how did you end up at Newman?
I've been an academic my whole career. I started as a professor at St. Louis U back in 1979 after finishing graduate school in Kansas, actually at KU in communication. And early on, I kind of got a yen for the big picture. I was faculty senate president and did a strategic plan for the 90s. And then I got to be department chair and associate dean. And then I did a fellowship to intern with a president's team at Tulane for a year and to just see what all you do in all the different areas. And
with an eye on a presidency.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see.
The American Council on Education selects about 35 people each year to do fellowships, and I was privileged to receive one of those in 91, 92. And so after that, I was a dean in Minnesota for 4 years, and then I was provost and vice president for academic affairs at Spring Hill College in Mobile, Alabama. And in 2007, Newman came calling, and here I am.
So when you were growing up, did you have in mind becoming the president of a university or a college?
No, Lord, no. I'm the first in my family to go to college. My dad got his GED while I was in college. He was a steel worker. My mother never got to go to college, but she did a series of wonderful jobs. But they always expected I'd go to college, but I didn't know what I wanted to be. I thought I wanted to be a lawyer. And then one of my advisors I had communication and psychology as a major. And I was going to go to law school. And he said, oh, go to graduate school. You'll be bored in law school. And that's what I did. So I'm a long way from growing up in Steubenville, Ohio in an Italian parish. I never thought I'd be a college president for sure.
So you're enjoying it, though?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Tell us about Newman. Why Newman, and what makes it so different from other colleges in the area, besides the obvious that it is a good school, it is Catholic, and the fact that it is small?
Our new tagline is a degree of difference. And we came to that after focus groups with prospective students, current students, parents. We see ourselves as grounded in the liberal arts, but preparing people well for the next step, whether that's their job as an accountant or an IT professional or a nurse or a sonographer, or for graduate school, PhD programs, law school, medical school. We have the best acceptance rate percentage to medical school of any school I know. For the last 15 years, 95% of applicants have been accepted, most to KU Med. And so when KU 6 years ago started the first and second year in Wichita, they've had the third and fourth year in a residency program since the 70s. They decided they're trying to grow the number of docs in Kansas. And so when they started the program, they came to us and said, would you teach our first year students their anatomy course with your professor and your labs, which we do have cadaver labs, which is unusual for an undergraduate institution. And we've had that partnership for several years. We get our mission. We're a Catholic university named for John Henry Cardinal Newman, founded by the Adorers of the Blood of Christ for the purpose of empowering our graduates to transform society. Catholic university, all faiths are welcome. We value faith. I always say to prospective students, you don't have to be Catholic to be happy here, but you won't leave here without examining your faith commitments, whatever they are. All faiths are welcome at a Catholic university. From our namesake, John Henry Cardinal Newman, we get our commitment to the liberal arts as the best preparation for a good life and a good career and a thoughtful life. Cardinal Newman was an Anglican priest in England who was a professor at Oxford University, and he, at the age of 45 in 1845, converted to Catholicism, and he had to leave his post at Oxford because you couldn't be Catholic and teach there. Catholic Church knew they had a good thing. They dubbed him to raise money and found a Catholic university in Dublin, Ireland. He raised the money through giving lectures on the idea of a university. And that's why we have the Newman Studies program, which is very unusual general education program. We start at the freshman level and sophomore level like most other schools do with, your writing, your math, your English, science, etc. But then the junior and senior year, we have interdisciplinary team-taught capstone courses. It might be theology and entertainment, sports and religion, death and dying, and from the perspective of both the sciences and philosophy. So we want people to see, as Cardinal Newman said, real knowledge looks at the connectedness of ideas. So we help our students learn how to think, synthesize, analyze, have respectful dialogue, and they get presentations. We have a Scholars Day. Everybody has to do one major capstone project, and they present their work. That's the degree of difference. But the mission we get from our sisters, our sponsors, the Adorers of the Blood of Christ, who had the courage to found a school in the middle of the Depression in 1933 to train mainly sisters to be teachers, okay? It's from them that we get our mission is to empower our graduates to transform society. We know we'll make a successful Victor, but we want Victor to be dedicated to more than himself and his family and faith. We want you to make your community a better place. Indeed, our students get experience even internationally, some of them, with doing service with the sisters in Guatemala, and most recently in India with some of our sisters.
So it's saying, in essence, enter to learn and go forth to serve.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So we've described you in my introduction that as the first lay woman president of Newman University. Did you ever consider becoming a nun? As a Catholic?
Maybe in first grade.
In first grade?
Sister Mary Karen was really inspirational, but no, pretty early on I knew that it wasn't going to be for me. No.
Why not?
I wasn't.
Okay, then let me ask you this: were you good or bad growing up?
Well,
describe those growing up days.
Okay, so I've always been a talker, and that was my nemesis in grade school. My mother would come home from the teacher nights and say, Sister Mary Karen said, or Sister Mary so-and-so said you'd be at the top of the class if you'd just keep your mouth shut. So I wasn't a bad girl, but I was, well, the way I describe it is I probably had ADD, and that's why administration suits me so well, but I'm old enough that they didn't have that diagnosis then, but I like variety.
So what do you do for fun today?
Golf, read, travel. My husband and I try to do one trip a year, along with seeing family and friends.
Tell us, you've worked with students all your life, teaching, now president of a university. How have students changed since the days when you were in undergraduate school? Some things have changed tremendously and other things have not. Just last semester I did a freshman seminar for the first time in a few years. That's a group of students that you get to know and help during their first semester of college. It's like an extended orientation. And we read a book about innovations, about major innovations that have altered human history in the West. And I asked them to write an essay on the major innovation of their lives. 10 of the 11 wrote about their iPhone. Oh.
And how it keeps them connected, how it's the way they do their research, their homework. They write papers on their phones.
Were you surprised?
In retrospect, no. I mean, because this is the world they've grown up in, right? And at the same time, what's timeless is, I'm 18 years old, I'm nervous about starting college, I don't know if I'm gonna fit in, I'm not sure what I really want to major in, but I better act like I am. That's kind of been constant in my whole career. I think it's a little harder today for them to connect because in a strange sort of way, they're so connected to their technology that I've seen them walk on campus two at a time, looking at their phone and not talking to each other. They'll do that in the cafeteria. So I worry a bit that, well, somebody asked at a conference I was at last week of all the Catholic colleges and universities, do students lack empathy today because of all this technology and everything? And I had an aha at that meeting of, these 19-year-olds have known pretty much nothing but war, gridlock, that getting news from your own point of view.
Gridlock in Washington?
Yeah.
Okay, political, politics.
Political gridlock.
Yeah.
Getting news from your own point of view. The worst recession. What have they had modeled for them that is civility? Except in their homes.
Right.
But some of our students, sadly, you'd be surprised to know that many of our students are Pell eligible, which means that they have an estimated family contribution to pay for college of zero.
Right.
A lot of first generation, like myself, at Newman. So they don't necessarily have, they're not second generation college and come from easy lives.
So how have these students helped shape you, helped shape your life?
They've kept me young. I'm 63 and I still consider myself the same as I did when I was in my 30s. And I think it's because of the kids. What has changed though, and they don't teach me because I don't pay attention anymore to popular culture. I don't know the music anymore of these kids, but I also think that's become demassified too. They listen to their own playlists instead of we're all listening to the top 40 like I grew up. So they could be teaching me about the music scene, but I'm not particularly interested.
Did you dance when you were growing up?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we had dances all the time. Yeah.
A big concern, and you mentioned something about it earlier, but a big concern nowadays is the cost of college. Drowning in debt are the students when they have graduated. They owe their lives to the loans. Just what do you have to suggest to them? What's your key?
Well, I think it's one of the worst hyperbolic narratives out there that students are drowning in debt. Indeed, 30+% of our students from Newman graduate with no debt.
Remarkable.
We do everything we can to make a Newman education affordable so that our graduates on average come out with less debt. And it's around, I think the last time I looked, it's around $20,000. We're among the lowest in the state of Kansas. Our students graduate with less debt on average than students from some of the public universities.
Why is that?
Because we do everything we can to make it affordable for them. And we're committed to providing an education to all who seek it at our university and feel a good fit. And what I always try to tell people is to take a loan. When I went to college, we didn't have money. My dad, as I said earlier, was a steel worker. Right. My mom had been a stay-at-home mom till I went to college. I took out $10,000 of loans in 1975. It took me 10 years after graduate school to pay it off, $90 a month. It is the best investment I ever made. My first car is long gone. So you leave Newman with an average debt of $20,000, you're getting into the graduate school of your choice, you're getting the job of your choice. Our nurses are all hired before they graduate.
So are you saying then it's worth it?
Oh, absolutely. It's the best investment you can make is in yourself and your education. It's not a bad thing if you have to take out some loan to get the education you want.
Dr. Carrocci, how has education changed, higher education, from the good old days till now?
I don't know that the good old days were that good. I mean, I think teaching pedagogy has just really taken off in the last 20 years or so. Flipping classrooms where, they go read the lecture notes, go read them, and then come to class and let's interactively deal with the data or the information that you read. Let's dive in together. I think teaching and learning are more engaged and active than they were in what I would say are pretty much the days of a professor standing there and reading his or her lectures, and you heard about the yellow lecture notes.
Right.
We don't do that today.
Do you teach at all?
I haven't taught, except this little freshman seminar. I haven't taught a course since, well, the spring before I came here, I taught a leadership course at my previous institution.
Do you miss it?
In addition to ADHD, I've often said that I got into administration because I was tired of grading papers. That's the part I've never missed, because when you grade papers, I always took as long to grade a set of papers as it did any one student to produce it. And that's very quiet and isolating, and I'd rather be with people. So I never get tired of presenting.
So what's the best advice that you have to offer any student today?
Find your passion, major in it, go to grad school, be a professor. We're going to need professors really badly, or go be a teacher. The state of Kansas is already in crisis in needing teachers. And at the same time, all of us who have education programs have seen a decline in interest in the 18 to 24-year-olds in teaching. And the Kansas State Board of Education is very concerned about this, and they're working on it. I co-chair with Lindy Wells the Business and Education Alliance of the Greater Wichita Partnership. And the Kansas State Department of Education folks, Jim McNeese and Kathy Bush, who are local, presented it in stark terms to the Alliance last month. The recruiting and retaining teachers is a huge challenge for this state.
So you mentioned passion. Mm-hmm. How does a student determine his passion? Because that's kind of a challenge, so to speak, for some students.
Well, I think some people know all along what they want to do, but we have ways to help them discern where their passions might be in things like we started that this year with the freshmen, a program called My Major that's kind of a diagnostic, and we all did it in class together on computer, and it puts out possible majors that you might do given these interests. Mm-hmm. They can visit with their faculty members about what would happen if I majored in biology? What would happen if I majored in theater? I mean, can a theater person succeed? Yeah. Get a minor in business and manage a theater if you can't become a star. There's lots of options, and our faculty and our career services office try to help students find their best future.
Okay. So I want to play a little game with you, and we'd like to do that on this show.
Okay.
But before we do that, tell us, what do you see as your proudest accomplishments at Newman in 10 years?
Oh, I've not accomplished anything. I mean, it's all been a team effort. We embarked on the largest campaign in Newman's history to renovate our health sciences facilities and build a new science center. And the advancement team led by J.V. Johnston, our vice president, had just done a tremendous job. Volunteers, campaign cabinet, co-chairs Dr. Grellinger and Melissa Grellinger, both alums, their children alums. The Dana and Larry Fugate co-chaired the campaign cabinet too. We had honorary co-chairs of Bishop Kemi, and Pat and Kathy O'Shaughnessy have been tremendous supporters of Newman. So it's just been a joy. And the biggest joy of all was that Bishop Gerber, our retired Bishop Emeritus, lent us his name. Mm-hmm. And really more than half of what we raised was in his honor. Wow. And I got to be with him during this time. A gift I never should have been given because he retired in 2000 or 2001, but it's enriched me spiritually to do this campaign. So I'm not proud of it. I feel blessed by the gift of St. Maria de Matthias' spirituality, which is grounded in a belief in the divine providence of God, learning it from Bishop Gerber as well as the sisters. There's just a real connection there that he feels with the adorers and their charism. And it's just been a blessing to really learn the divine providence of God.
So here's the game.
Okay.
I will start a sentence and you finish it.
Okay.
How's that?
Okay.
All right. When I'm sad,
When I'm sad, I talk with my husband, talk with my girlfriends.
Okay. When I'm glad, I
talk with my husband, talk with my girlfriends.
Well, sometimes I wish.
Sometimes I wish I could win the lottery so that I could endow Newman. I do buy lottery tickets.
You do? Okay. Well, your church has nothing against that, right?
No, no.
Right. My happiest memory is?
My husband's and my wedding.
My saddest memory is?
My sister dying 4 years ago.
My mission in life is?
To promote Newman University
My,
and make it better.
my greatest achievement in life is?
I don't think I've achieved anything really.
So then that brings me to the last one. My ultimate goal in life is?
To have contributed, made a difference.
All right, that's a good one. So what's next for Newman University, and what is next for you two after Newman?
Right. My husband can't see me retiring. He thinks I'm way too active. What's next for Newman University is I think our new facilities are going to consolidate our undergraduate enrollment efforts. We're going to continue to think of creative programming for graduate students, and we've done wonderful partnerships with Via Christi, the Diocese, USD 259. I see us always listening and developing programs to meet needs. That's what the sisters have always done. And I'm not sure what I will do, but I might fundraise. I might look for foundation work. I'm just not sure.
Well, on that note, Dr. Noreen Carrocci, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you
for joining
Victor.
us one-on-one.
It's fun.
It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you. It's been great to be here.
And thank you for joining us.
You bet.
I'm Victor Hogstrom. Thank you for watching and supporting your local public television station, KPTS. I'll see you back next week with another edition of One-on-One. Good night.
The Alvin and Rosalie Sarachek Trust, supporting arts, history, science, and this program on KPTS.
The preceding program was brought to you by TZ Productions, offering 40 years of media experience.